You showed a little bit of it, but there must be much more videotape or film of that floating around, right?
There was some Manfred Mann footage. There's some of the Kings as well. But
it's the most expensive footage to get hold of. That's the honest to God truth. It really, we were shocked how expensive it was, which is why, that's fair to say, isn't it? Yeah, the whole thing is out there, but it was so expensive, so it was like, well, what do you use? But it is incredible footage. So it is out there. So, any other questions at all? You may have to shout, Sarah, or shall I come over to you? Okay, thank you, Heather.
Yeah, my name's Craig. My main question was about Paul McCartney's influence. It seemed like once he came back to Liverpool and appeared at the Cavern, and then started giving funds for the museum or whatever it was.
Performing Arts School.
So is he pretty much recognized as the main force that got things going? That's, you know, seems like everything catapulted right after he came back. So do people recognize him as the main force?
Yeah, absolutely. Very astute question. That when we got the Cavern in 1991, you see the backdrop, 3 or 4 people had gone bust, and the original Cavern, 2 or 3 people had gone bankrupt. It was very, very, very difficult. It was a poison chalice. The brand today is so different than it was in 1991. And we were reintroducing all the time the live music, and it was an uphill struggle. And Jeff Baker, who was his PA, we have a very, very close relationship with MPL, which is McCartney's company, and Apple, which is the Beatles' company. And we ended up with Paul coming back to play. And all the questions in Liverpool and worldwide, well, it's not the real Cavern because the real Cavern was knocked down. And we suffered from that all the time until the day Paul McCartney came back. And that gave it its history back, and it gave, although it was the new site, it was a rebuilt site, it gave that place its own heritage and its own history. And if you actually work it out, the Cavern from 1984 onwards has been in existence twice as long as the Cavern, the original Cavern. But what that did, as I say, it was a great question, because after that, everybody wanted to play. And we get phone calls all the time from people. I got a phone call from, I was only saying to the journalist before, I got a phone call in 1991 and he asked to speak to Bill Hagler. I said, speak in. He said, it's Bo. And I said, Bo who? He said, don't cry to me, it's Bo Diddley. And I didn't think it was Bo Diddley. I just thought someone was joking, but you can't say that in case it is Bo. It was Bo Diddley. So all of a sudden, in the last 18 months, we had Steve Van Zandt rang up, he wanted to play, Joe Bonamassa. We just get it all the time. And the obvious one, although it would have been nice to put footage in there, but Paul is actually in the process of doing his own film, which is coming out hopefully in the next 6 months or so. He came back again to the Cavern last July. So we get a phone call in June saying Paul wants to come back. Have you got any spots for him? Well, actually, John was playing that night, but we got rid of him. So, yeah, Paul coming back was an absolute catalyst, and the floodgates have been open since then, and nobody ever now talks about it's not the real Cavern. Of course it's the real Cavern. It's the history, and right the way through from 1957 to the present day, and everybody wants to come there and everybody wants to play.
Great question. Yeah. Okay, there's a gentleman there.
Just a follow-up question. We talked about Paul. How about Ringo? Has he been in contact with you? Has he said he'd like to come back?
Yeah, this is another one of Bill's stories because it is a good story. Ringo has returned to the Cavern.
So this is 1993, and it was a Sunday morning, and we weren't open on a Sunday in those days. And my other business partner, George Guinness, rang me up, and I had jaundice at the time. And he said, there's somebody outside just phoned up purporting to be Ringo. And he wants to come in to film. What shall I do? I said, well, is it Ringo? He said, I don't know. I'm a bit scared going outside in case it's... I said, well, go outside and see. So he goes outside, see, I get up and starting to get ready to get a taxi over to meet Ringo. And then my wife reminds me I've got jaundice, which is very, you know, you can't really go and meet someone if you've got jaundice. So I just said, okay, I can't go and meet him. And that was it. When I got back to work, George said, yeah, he was in there for about an hour, the camera crew just left him. You know, he's very nice and whatever. And apparently he's got a thing with the Disney Channel called Going Home coming out on TV. It's going to be in America first. And my wife, 6 months later, was out in America. And she rang me up very excitedly saying, I've just seen Going Home with Ringo. I said, oh yeah, when he went to the Cavern, has it got the Cavern footage? She said, not only has it got the Cavern footage, he goes on the stage with a pen, and he said, this will be a surprise for the lads. And right above Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, he puts Ringo Starr, and then he goes over to where it's got the Beatles, and he puts Ringo Starr, and he, look out for it, you can get it online. He goes, that'll be a big surprise. Well, it was a shock. So when she tells me that, I run in the next day, and sure enough, there's by Rory Storm, and there's by the Beatles, and I tell Dave, my business partner, we're like, oh my God, it's been there 6 months, we didn't know. So Dave gets the head cleaner, gets him over and says, right, look at that, that's history. We've got to preserve that. You look after that. A week later, the head cleaner goes on holiday, and he gets all his cleaners and says, Dave Jones, the boss, says, if you don't clean that, there'll be murder. I'll be back in 2 weeks. The cleaners that day wiped it off. So it had been there for 6 months. Nobody had touched it. We only had it a couple of days and we wiped it off. But that's the only time that Ringo actually came back.
Well, he has, but he does come back to Liverpool. He has been back many times. As Paul's always in Liverpool. He's still got a home on the Wirral, which is just over the river from Liverpool. So Paul is always there. Any other questions at all?